Good afternoon, it's Pontos15, better known as David. Just a quick update. I say quick update. This is going to be a video with a couple of things that have recently gone on in the world of Warhammer for Ontario. So recently, I mean last Sunday, I attended the GME tournament hosted by Tristan Mitchell in Chatham, and to be perfectly honest, it was a great success. The tournament was very well organized, very well hosted by the store manager who was able to help out, and I had a whole load of fun. I don't think I did quite as well as I would have wanted. I don't think I got top half, but you know what? I fought against a great variety of opponents, and I saw a good few amount of strategies, got a few ideas from it as well. I just love playing 6th edition right now. It is throwing so many ideas into my head, and I never feel bad about losing. There was one small occasion that I will get into later, but like I said, I'll get into that later. So like I said, Tristan hosted this tournament. He's going to be doing his own separate review, and you can check that out at tristanmitchell.net. That is his own personal blog. I will put the link down below of the YouTube video, so you can check that out for yourself. But I personally had a whole lot of fun. Now, during this tournament, I did notice a few things, a few emerging trends, so you'd speak. Now, in my previous videos, I have mentioned that I was going to go into this. So some emerging trends that I did notice. The presence of flyers is definitely on the rise, as one would expect. Presence of vehicles is on the decline, unless you're playing Imperial Guard. And the presence of a Death Star unit. Very, very, very common units. In fact, in all of my games, my first 2 games I encountered flyers, and in almost every single game bar one, there was a Death Star unit. So, what I mean by Death Star unit is a collection of models, maybe some independent characters who've been upgraded beyond all possible reason, in a pretty decent squad to make a unit that is, yes, heavily priced, but at the same time going to be exceedingly powerful and difficult to deal with. One such example of this is I played against a Thunderwolf Cavalry Death Star, where it was 2 Wolf Lords on their Thunderwolf Cavalry with a squad of 4, and that squad was tough as nails, difficult to crack. I couldn't do it in the end. My Death Star unit was Corbolo, Logan, Arjak, Tycho with a group of Wolf Guard Terminators, and they were eating shots left, right, and center. Like there were actually two games where they actually took a vast number of casualties, but in the other 2 games they kind of just soaked everything up. So the Death Star units are there to absorb fire, and they're also there to just be a general nuisance. They are very, very tough cookies to crack. The other emerging trend was flyers, as I mentioned earlier. My first 2 games had flyers. My last 2 games did not. The first 2 games were very, very interesting. I had a flyer of my own. I was running a Stormraven gunship in my list, but that was the only thing that had Skyfire. I'm not quite yet seeing the value of the fortifications. However, I did see a couple of them being used, and I'm not going to say that they're not valuable. It's just currently for me, I'm not seeing the worth in them. So my Stormraven did a lot. I took down a Storm Eagle, which is a Forge World model. If you're not familiar with, it's like a bigger version of the Stormraven. And my opponent Nick also had 2 Storm Talons. So they had 4 flyers on the field, which I thought was pretty cool. My second opponent Russ had 3 Vendettas. My Stormraven didn't do a thing to them, so those Vendettas were just having a field day. Those weren't the only Vendettas there at the tournament. And something that I've noticed is if you do not have your flyer, such as I noticed when my Stormraven got taken out, is that if you end up focusing units that aren't Skyfire dependent, units that don't have Skyfire, you're going to be wasting shots because you need to hit on 6s. You're firing at Snapfire, and unless you've got an ability to help you reroll, which I did with Prescience, with my Rune Priest, then you're not going to have really good time. And if you don't take down that Vendetta, you don't take down that Stormraven, you don't take down that flyer with that round of shooting, you've wasted a turn, and you've wasted points that you could be shooting, you could be focusing elsewhere. So in order to deal with flyers and in order to deal with Death Star units, I've noticed different things. In certain circumstances, you can ignore a Death Star unit. You can just completely write it off from the game. If you have enough maneuverability, let's say you're playing an Annihilation-based game, there's no reason for you to get close to that unit, because it has to come to you. unless it is a heavy shooty list. There's no reason for you to go to it and risk some kill points. If it's an objective-based game, that Death Star unit is probably going to be hovering around an objective, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult that way, but you can kind of focus on everything else until you need to get around to the Death Star unit. To some extent, you can also kind of ignore flyers. I find that Vendettas, other than the fact that they have a transport capacity, only have 3 las cannons, so maybe that's taking down tanks. But as I already mentioned, they're not a whole load of tanks currently in the game. So if he's firing, he's either going to be firing at a unit that's in cover or doesn't have an invulnerable save, because otherwise he's going to be wasting those shots. Exceptions to this will definitely be the Necron Doom Scythe. That death ray is too dangerous to be kept alive, and also to a certain extent the Dark Eldar Razorwing Jet Fighter. That's a pretty decent flyer. It's capable of a lot of damage. So those are examples of ones that you perhaps need to prioritize. Other ones, not so much, unless of course they're carrying some decent cargo. So that's just some basic ideas of how to deal with them. Some emerging trends that I've noticed. Death Star units and flyers, so watch out for those. Also, again, like I said, TristanMitchell.net is where you can check out Tristan's blog. He'll be doing a big review of that tournament. And just a quick update on my tournament, my 2v2 tournament, which has now finally got a set date, September the 15th. I apologize to everyone that is not able to come. I apologize to everybody for all of this date shifting. There's been a lot of communication errors on my end with my work, and scheduling. It's difficult to try and schedule around the events going on at Imperial Hobbies. Magic is going on September 8th, and Magic has a really big scene currently right now in London, so I'm quite happy to step to one side and have it on the 15th. So it's going to be, again, 2v2 tournament, 1,000 point lists, 1,000 points of 1 codex entry per player. Let's not do detachments, that's just going to get a little finicky. Nick, no Forge World. And also, a small alteration that I've decided to add. Each team, so 1 out of the 2 people on your team, must bring an objective marker. Okay? Now this can be anything. I prefer it to be on a 25mm base, such as this. This is something that I've created from a leftover drop pod part. Preferably a 25mm base. Okay, something that clearly is an objective and can be used by your team. I will not let you know what that is for. I'm just letting you know that it is important, and it will be important to every game of the tournament. Alrighty. So again, 1,000 point lists, 1 codex entry, please. Dave at Imperial Hobbies has begun pre-registration, so if you want to get in there, you want to sign up with your partner, please do. September 15th. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm excited. If you have any questions, please message me. If you have any questions regarding the video, regarding anything that I've already brought up, or if you have any suggestions for something that we need to address, maybe something you're unclear of, or something that you need to go into more depth about, just a theory craft, please send me a message and let me know. Again, thank you very much. I've been David. See you guys next time.